Deep in a forgotten mountain range, hidden behind snow-draped cliffs and thick pine forests, there stood a fortress that even nightmares feared. Blackstone Penitentiary. A place built not just to contain criminals, but to erase them from the world. Surrounded by 30-foot concrete walls layered with barbed wire, equipped with motion-detecting lasers, thermal imaging cameras, and heavily armed watchtowers on every corner, Blackstone wasn't a prison. It was a high-tech tomb. Once you entered, you never left. Escape was considered not just impossible, but unthinkable. Yet something happened that shattered that belief forever. Among the 700 prisoners inside was a man who didn't belong. Not because he wasn't dangerous, he absolutely was, but because his weapon wasn't a knife or a gun. It was his mind. His name was Adrian Voss, and across 3 continents, his name was feared. A former intelligence officer turned rogue tactician, Adrian was the mastermind behind 27 international crimes, cyber heists, arms deals, prison breaks, and political sabotage. Nations had hunted him for years, but he always slipped away. Until one night in Budapest, he was caught in a sting operation. His arrest made headlines, his trial was closed to the public, and his sentence? Life imprisonment at Blackstone. The world breathed a little easier knowing Adrian was locked away forever. What no one knew was that Adrian had planned to be caught. From the moment he stepped inside Blackstone, he began watching, quiet, unshaken, always calculating. While other inmates brawled or broke down, Adrian observed. He memorized patrol routes, counted steps, studied guard behavior. He read books by day and stared at the walls by night, as if measuring every inch of his new home. For 7 long years he waited, and then, without a single warning, the impossible happened. At 6 a.m. on a cold November morning, 51 prisoners were missing, vanished, no alarms, no gunfire, no forced gates, just gone. In a place where escaping was a death sentence, 51 men had walked out of Blackstone under the nose of one of the most advanced security systems on the planet. And the most shocking part? No one noticed until morning roll call. Investigators were stunned. The warden resigned. Cameras were reviewed frame by frame, but the footage showed nothing. Just 7 seconds of static at 2:13 a.m. That's all Adrian needed. Every inch of his plan had been calculated with military precision. From the tunnel beneath the laundry block, to the glitched surveillance feed, to the guard rotations he had influenced over years of manipulation, it was all choreographed, like a symphony of silence. What he left behind in his empty cell was a single message. A mind that is free can never be caged. To this day, authorities don't know how he coordinated 50 hardened criminals without a single cell phone, radio, or outside contact. Some believe he used Morse code, tapping messages through water pipes. Others say he had outside help, bribing guards and hacking security systems from within. But no proof was ever found. The forest surrounding the prison was searched for weeks. Bloodhounds, drones, infrared, nothing. The men were simply gone. The news spread like wildfire. Some called it the greatest prison escape in history. Others called it an inside job. But one thing was clear. Adrian Voss had turned the world's most secure prison into a ghost story. And wherever he is now, he isn't hiding. He's planning. Because for a man like Adrian, escaping was never the endgame. It was just the beginning. For 7 long years, the world thought Adrian Voss was just another inmate. Trapped, isolated, forgotten. But Blackstone didn't break Adrian. It sharpened him. Each day behind those concrete walls was another puzzle piece, another lesson in the art of patience. He watched everything. Not just the guards' schedules, but how long they paused for coffee, how many steps they took between security checks, who smoked behind the supply shed, who was lazy with lock codes. He studied the rhythm of the prison like a conductor memorizing a symphony. He learned when the food truck arrived, how often the electricians checked the circuits, and which guards complained about overtime. He even mapped out how the janitor cleaned the floors, what route he took, what time he was alone, and which vents he never dusted. And then, Adrian began recruiting, not with threats, not with fear, but with ideas. He turned enemies into allies by offering them purpose. He gave angry men hope, violent men discipline, and broken men a reason to believe. He didn't build a gang, he built a network, a silent army of 50 loyal inmates, each one with a role. Adrian gave them code names, divided them into cells. Some were diggers, some were lookouts, some were engineers, men who smuggled out scrap metal from the kitchen, melted toothbrushes into tools, or rerouted wiring from broken radios. They communicated in whispers and knocks, in Morse code through the walls, in toothpaste ink scrawled behind bathroom mirrors. Every message passed, every tool crafted, every tunnel inch carved, was part of a plan only Adrian could see in full. And then the moment arrived. It was a moonless night. A thick fog had crept down from the mountain, cloaking the yard in darkness. The temperature dropped. Guards wore extra coats. They moved slower, less alert. Perfect conditions. At 2:13 a.m., something strange happened. Every camera in the prison glitched, just for 7 seconds. Not enough time to cause alarm, but more than enough time for Adrian's team to act. Those 7 seconds were the result of 2 years of sabotage. A minor flaw planted in the system by Adrian's tech crew, inmates who had manipulated the prison's electrical maintenance records and spliced power lines connected to the CCTV servers. At the exact second the cameras blinked, a signal was given, a soft tap under a steel bed frame. The tunnel entrance, hidden beneath a fake laundry machine, opened. The tunnel itself had taken 5 years to dig. It was narrow, no wider than a man's shoulders, dug out with spoons, wires, bones from meals, anything they could get their hands on. Dirt was smuggled out in pillowcases and laundry bags, dumped into garden plots and hollow wall spaces. The tunnel ran beneath the prison yard, under the north fence, and out into the edge of the forest. Adrian led the way, silent, calm, focused. Behind him, 50 men crawled, each one trusting him with their life. Above them, the prison was quiet. Not a single siren, not a single bullet, just stillness. By the time guards noticed anything was wrong, it was too late. The tunnel was collapsed behind them, buried with rocks and steel debris. The security systems reset themselves like nothing had happened. The prisoners' beds were rigged with mannequins, stuffed with newspaper and molded soap heads. Even the motion sensors at the yard's edge had been looped, replaying old footage in real time. Adrian had anticipated everything. By sunrise, the prison counted the inmates. 51 were missing. Panic exploded. Officers ran in every direction. Drones were launched. Helicopters scoured the forest. Roads were locked down. National Guards were called. But there was no trail, no scent, no heat signatures. It was like they had evaporated. Inside Adrian's abandoned cell, investigators found only a small drawing carved into the wall, a raven flying above barbed wire, and below it 3 words: think, plan, escape. It wasn't just an escape, it was a message. The kind of silence that didn't feel peaceful, but paralyzed. It was 6:04 a.m. when the first guard made the discovery. Cell 82 was open, the bed was still made, but the inmate was gone. Then cell 83, empty. Cell 84, empty. One by one, guards ran from block to block, their voices growing louder, more frantic. They're gone. Check every level. Where the hell are they? Within minutes, 51 cells were found empty. No signs of a struggle, no blood, no broken locks. Just perfectly placed dummies in the beds, soap heads with painted faces and pillows shaped like bodies. A child's illusion. In the most secure facility on Earth. Panic erupted. Sirens blared across the valley. Spotlights swept the grounds. Within hours, helicopters swarmed the skies, tracking heat signatures across 30 square miles of surrounding forest. Military drones scanned the terrain. Border alerts were issued across 3 countries. The warden, pale and trembling, gave a single order: lock the prison down. Nothing comes in or out. But it was already too late. Adrian Voss and 50 men had vanished. No footprints, no tire marks, no clues. It was as if they had been pulled into the earth. By 9 a.m., news had broken. Every major network ran the headline: The Impossible Escape, 51 Inmates Vanish from World's Toughest Prison. Journalists swarmed the prison gates, families of the victims, politicians, conspiracy theorists, all demanding answers. How could a man under 24-hour surveillance escape? How could 50 others follow him without triggering a single alarm? The official report said nothing. No known accomplices, no tunnels discovered, no evidence of inside help. Just an eerie silence, and one final detail. In Adrian's cell, etched faintly into the wall behind the bed frame, was a single line carved with the sharp edge of a stolen fork. No cage can hold a free mind. Adrian Voss. The quote was burned into every news segment, every headline, every whispered conversation in prisons around the globe. Adrian had not only escaped, he had turned Blackstone, the world's strongest cage, into a monument to his freedom. Rumors spread like wildfire. Some said Adrian had fled to South America, hiding in the deep jungles of Colombia, protected by cartels he once aided. Others believed he had faked the escape and still roamed the halls of Blackstone in disguise, watching the chaos he created from within. One theory claimed he had a secret base built beneath the forest, an underground city where he was training the next generation of fugitives. Another claimed he never left the country at all, just slipped beneath the cracks of society, living among us in plain sight. But no matter how wild the stories became, one truth remained: he was never found. Interpol launched a global manhunt. His face was put on every international watch list, billboards, airports, borders, yet not a single credible sighting ever surfaced, not a phone call, not a fingerprint, not a whisper from the underworld. Adrian Voss had disappeared, perfectly, and over time his legend grew. Some called him a criminal genius, others a symbol of resistance. For prisoners around the world, his name became folklore, a ghost, a myth, a man who defied the impossible. And for governments, he became a reminder, a chilling message that no system, no matter how advanced, is truly inescapable when facing a mind like Adrian's. To this day, security experts still study the Blackstone breach. New prisons are designed in fear of it, protocols rewritten, AI surveillance added, yet none of it erases what happened, because the question still echoes. If a man can escape the most secure prison in the world with 50 others and leave no trace, what is he planning next? No one knows. Maybe he's rebuilding, recruiting, watching. But one thing is certain: this wasn't just an escape, it was a message. No cage can hold a free mind. Adrian Voss, fade to black.